સ્ટુડન્ટ ગુડ આફ્ટરનૂન.
ગુડ આફ્ટરનૂન સર.
પાછળથી બધા આગળ આવી જાઓ. તમે જીકે પર તમારા છોકરા બધા ગુજરાતી મીડિયમ કે ઇંગ્લિશ મીડિયમ? ઇંગ્લિશ મીડિયમ. ઓ વેરી ગુડ સર. પાછળથી આગળ આવી જાઓ. આગળ પાછળની રો આગળ આવી જાઓ.
આનંદ પૂછ્યું કે જાય મેં વોલેટ પાડે પડી ખબર સાલે કે
ઓકે હવે ઓરિએન્ટેશન એ લોકોએ ફિઝિક્સ કેમિસ્ટ્રી બાયોલોજી ના ક્લાસ અટેન્ડ કરે?
હા
કેટલાય કરે? ઓકે ઓલમોસ્ટ બધાય કરેલા છે. 9th વાળા છે સર, એ લોકો 9th વાળા છે પણ 2 દિવસથી અટેન્ડ કરે છે ફિઝિક્સ કેમિસ્ટ્રી બાયોલોજી ના ક્લાસ. ઓકે ટુડે વી હેવ અ લેક્ચર ઓન જુનિયર સાયન્સ ઓલિમ્પિયાડ. બરોબર? તો આપણે બધાને ખબર છે કે નેશનલ અને ઇન્ટરનેશનલ લેવલ પર જે એક્ઝામ થાય છે એમાં એક સેક્શન જુનિયર સાયન્સ ઓલિમ્પિયાડ એટલે સર જોડે અમે ચર્ચા કરતા હતા એ ઉપર સર એવું લાગ્યું કે આપણે ઇન્ડિયાની અંદર જ આવું બધું અલગ છે, બાકી એક હોવું જોઈએ. ફિઝિક્સ કેમિસ્ટ્રી બાયોલોજી પછી બધાની એક બુક કરી ભેગી કરી નાખો એને ઇન્ટિગ્રેશન ના કહેવાય. બરોબર છે? સિલેબસ જ એક હોવો જોઈએ. બરોબર? એ વાત માટે સર આપણને વધારે માહિતી આપશે. સરનો પરિચય આપી દો. સર ડોક્ટર પીકે જોશી સર. બરોબર? એકેડેમિક પ્રોગ્રામ કોઓર્ડિનેટર of Junior Science Olympiad in India. Sir is also faculty of Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, TIFR. સવારે જે સર હતા એમના ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યૂટમાંથી સર આવેલા છે. સર is a coordinator of the Junior Science Olympiad in India. So I request to sir for this session. Sir.
પહેલી વાત એ કરી લઉં કે આજે છે ને હું એક તરફા બોલવાનો નથી. ઠીક છે? પ્રશ્ન હું પૂછીશ કે તમે પૂછશો? તમે નહીં પૂછો તો હું પૂછીશ. અને આપણે પ્રશ્નો બહુ બધા આવતા હોય છે. ઠીક છે? હમણાં એક વિસલ વાગતી હતી. કોઈને ખબર છે શું કામ વાગે? સાંભળી કે નહીં? કેટલા લોકો વિસલ સાંભળી? શું કામ વાગે?
જ્યારે બે મેગ્નેટ એકબીજાના નજીક આવે છે.
ક્યાં મેગ્નેટ? આ તો સ્પીકર છે. આપણે છે ને જલ્દી આન્સર આપવાનો એનું કોઈ મહત્વ નથી. કરેક્ટ આન્સર આપો. એના માટે થોડું વિચારવાનું. એવું જરૂરી નથી આજે નથી આવડતું તો કોઈ નુકસાન નથી. યુ હેવ ટુ ફાઇન્ડ આઉટ શું છે. એનીવે આપણો ટોપિક નતું એટલે ક્વેશ્ચન આવ્યો છે. તો જુનિયર સાયન્સ અલગ. અને બીજી વાત એ છે કે બહુ આજે હું તમને કઈ ઇક્વેશન ને કઈ નથી કરાવતો. એટલે ખાલી શાંતિથી સાંભળજો અને અહીંયા ઉતારજો. અહીંયા ઉતારવાની જરૂર નથી. તો ઓલિમ્પિયાડ જે છે ને ઇટ ઇઝ અ મૂવમેન્ટ, ઇટ ઇઝ નોટ ફોર એક્ઝામ. એ જો ખાલી એક્ઝામ હોત તો અમારે અહીંયા સુધી બોલાવવાની જરૂરત જ નથી. એક્ઝામ આપો પાસ થાય ડિગ્રી જાય એ નથી. આનામાંથી આપણે સાયન્સને કેવી રીતે જીવનમાં ઉતારી શકીએ. તો આપણે આપણે કરી કે એક મૂવમેન્ટ છે. પર્પઝ એ છે કે સાયન્સને કેવી રીતે એટ્રેક્ટિવ બનાવવું. આપણે શું કામ સાયન્સમાં આવવું જોઈએ? તમે બધા સાયન્સના સ્ટુડન્ટ છો રાઈટ? તો ભવિષ્યમાં શું કરવું છે? એન્જિનિયરિંગ. બધા એન્જિનિયરિંગ? અરે વાહ, આર્કિટેક્ચર. બીજું જિંદગીમાં ક્યારેક ક્યારેક અમને એવા છૂટા છવાયા અલગ આન્સર આવે છે તો એન્જિનિયરિંગ અને મેડિસિન જ કરવું છે. શું કામ? એન્જિનિયરિંગ શું કામ કરે? આપણે રમવા જાય છે કે શું રમવા જાય? શું કામ? એન્જોયમેન્ટ. એક રીઝન તો છે ને. એન્જિનિયરિંગમાં કરવા માટે શું રીઝન છે?
કાર બનાવીને ડ્રીમ પૂરો કરો.
કાર બનાવીને
બનાવી છે.
કાર બનાવી છે. ઓકે. કાર તો બધા લોકો બનાવે છે. તો કાર બનાવવામાં શું નવું? પોતાની બનાવે, એમાં શું નવું છે? નવું શું છે? ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ છે. એન્જિનિયરિંગ ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ, લો ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ નથી કે પછી આપણે કાર્પેન્ટરી ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ છે કે પછી હિસ્ટ્રીમાં સ્ટડી કરવું ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ નથી? તો પછી એન્જિનિયરિંગ જ શું કામ? કે મેડિસિન જ શું કામ? મેડિસિન કોને કરવું છે? ડોક્ટર કોને કરવું છે? કોઈને નહીં? સિરિયસ? સાચું બોલો ને. હા, એ તો છાપી નાખવાનું ડીઆર. આપણે શું કામ કરીએ છીએ કે આપણે વિચારતા. તો વાય શુડ યુ ડુ સાયન્સ? વાય શુડ સ્ટુડન્ટ ડુ સાયન્સ? સાયન્સથી શું ફાયદો? સાયન્સ શું કામ મળવું જોઈએ? કઈ કારણ છે? એન્વાયરમેન્ટનું નોલેજ મળે. તો એન્વાયરમેન્ટ નોલેજથી શું કરવું? એટલે એને કઈ પર્પઝ છે? ખાલી ભણવા માટે ભણવું છે કે કોઈ રીઝન છે? જનરલી સાયન્સ જે છે તે આપણે આપણી અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડિંગ માટે છે કે આપણે જે ચાલે છે, વોટ ઇઝ ધી રીઝન, વોટ ઇઝ ધી ફિનોમિના એ સ્ટડી કરો. એ સોસાયટીને કેવી રીતે કામ આવે છે? આપણે ટેકનોલોજી ડેવલપ કરીએ તો સોસાયટીને કામ આવે એના માટે જ. બટ એસ્ટાબ્લિશ વેરી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ડે ટુ ડે રિલેશનશિપ વિથ સાયન્સ. જેમ આપણને આ વિસલ વાગી તો પ્રશ્ન થયો કે શું કામ વિસલ વાગી? આન્સર ભલે ને so how to handle challenging questions? આપણે સ્કૂલ લેવલ ઉપર આવીએ છીએ કે જ્યારે અમે ઓલિમ્પિયાડમાં ભણાવતા હોઈએ કે અમે ટ્રેનિંગ હોય કે જે બી હોય તો ક્વેશ્ચન એક આવે ને કેવી રીતે ચેલેન્જ કરવું. તો કેવા ટાઈપના ક્વેશ્ચન આવે? તો પહેલું આવે રીડિંગ કેરફુલી. ઘણા એવા ક્વેશ્ચન આવે ઓલિમ્પિયાડમાં જેમાં રિટન મટીરિયલ આપેલું and you have to read it carefully. If you don't read it carefully, you will give the wrong answer. There are examples also. How to collect and collect data. एक example बताना example also. Understanding the concept given in a situation. तो एक जो situation चाहे इन्हीं पांचर सु phenomenon. What is the concept? Understanding science and around the world. પછી એક ઓલિમ્પિયાડ જે છે એક ઇન્ટરનેશનલ લેવલ જે છોકરા જાય છે. The idea is કે આપણે કેવી રીતે ઇન્ટરનેશનલ કોલેબોરેશન થઈ શકે. તમને આજે ઇન્ડિયાના 6 સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ જાય દર વર્ષે બહાર. They make friends with 6 students from 50 other countries. Who knows? તમારા ફ્રેન્ડશિપ બને. ફ્યુચરમાં you can be working together with them. ખાલી સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ જ નહીં, જે ટીમ લીડર્સ જે સાથે જાય છે એ લોકોમાં બી કોલેબોરેશન. અને એનો બી એક એક્ઝામ્પલ આવશે આગળ જ્યારે આપણે how can you collaborate with people outside India? That is the idea of Olympia. So let us look at some examples from JSP. Junior Science Olympiad માં બે interesting features છે જે senior Olympiad માં નથી આવતા. One is it gives a different viewpoint to science through experiments. हमारे experiments जो है JS में एक group activity है. So international level पर जो event है, there are 3 students doing same experiment together. The experiment ऐसे design है कि unless you work together you cannot do it. And the second important point is unifying concepts of science. how to integrate physics, chemistry, biology, and even mathematics. Now, for example, why do students get attracted to commerce? Commerce में कोई इंटरेस्ट है? कॉमर्स में તમને જે સ્કૂલમાં ભણે કે કોલેજમાં ભણાવે એનું તમને ડે ટુ ડે લાઈફમાં ઇમિડિયેટ એપ્લિકેશન દેખાય. તમે ઇન્કમ ટેક્સનો સ્ટડીઝ કરો તો તમને ઘરે ઇન્કમ ટેક્સમાં દેખાય. તમારા ફાધર બ્રધર કે મધર કે કોઈ પ્રોફેશનમાં હોય they are following tax rules, income tax payment, deduction, balance sheet. So there is a direct day-to-day connection to that subject. Science માં એવું નથી થતું કે આપણે કાપી નાખ્યું છે. Okay, the other thing that Olympiad does is how to improve these concepts. અને એ પછી આવશે આનું importance. And one thing is it keeps you away from blind belief. And blind belief જરૂરી નથી કે ખાલી religious level, scientific भी हो. Blind belief is blind belief. It has got nothing to do with religion के आगे. હું વિચાર્યા વગર આની વાત માની લઉં એ blind belief, which we should not do. આપણી પાસે પોતાનું બેસિસ હોવું જોઈએ to accept. So it gives you confidence into your own. Okay, how to do measurements? That is one of the key part in learning science. Typically, हमारे experiments करे थे स्कूल में, क्या experiment? Okay, very good. So, ये से તમે ટેમ્પરેચર મેજર કરી વોટર કેટલા ડિગ્રી ઉપર બોઇલ કેટલા લોકો એક્ચ્યુઅલી જોયું છે 100 ડિગ્રી શાર્પ થર્મોમીટરમાં 100 ડિગ્રી જવું જોઈએ કોઈ દિવસ નહીં આવે 96 તો બહુ ઇઝીલી આવે 99 ડિફિકલ્ટીથી આવે 100 આવે જ નહીં એ તમને બહુ સોફિસ્ટિકેટેડ લેબમાં આવશે. Similarly, તમે ગમે કરી લો આઈસ મેલ્ટિંગ 0 ડિગ્રી ઉપર તમને નહીં મળે. So these are called measurement questions. આમાં ઘણા બધા પ્રશ્નો છે પણ આપણે સીધું હાથ કીધું 100 ડિગ્રી ઉપર શું કામ કરી ટેક્સ્ટ બુકમાં લખેલું જોયું છે કોઈ દિવસ તો પછી શું કામ હાથ હા ધીસ ઇઝ અવર પ્રોબ્લેમ. આપણે ટેક્સ્ટ બુક ઉપર જે છે ને બ્લાઇન્ડ બિલીફ. Even हमारे लेवल में हमारे स्टूडेंट्स PhD लेवल में स्टूडेंट्स भी say that the maximum they can best they can get is 99.5. 100 मात्र हमारे serious level. So our measurements and absence of proper measurement can lead to wrong ideas. Time से तो आपने भी discuss किया. The wrong ideas are dangerous. Wrong idea આવી એ ડેન્જરસ નથી પણ એ આઈડિયાને આપણે કેરફુલી ફોલો ન કરીએ એ એન્ડ વન એક્ઝામ્પલ ઓફ ઇટ ઇઝ perpetual machine. મારું બહુ ફેવરેટ છે. કોઈને ખબર છે what is perpetual machine? Perpetual machine is a એરો પર ક્લિક કરશે ને અચ્છા સોરી Perpetual machine that is a machine which gives more output than input or more output from zero input. It is not possible. But discuss to come. કારણ કે for 400 years આ આઈડિયા હ્યુમેનિટીમાંથી જાતી હતી. 400 વર્ષ પહેલા મારી પાસે ફિગર છે નહીં, પછી જોઈશ એન્ડમાં દેખાડે. એક એવું મશીન બનાવ્યું હતું કે તમને એમ લાગે કે this will keep running forever. And then you can always attach some gear and do some mechanical work from it. But it doesn't happen. Fine. So 400 વર્ષ પહેલા લોકોને કોઈને આઈડિયા આવી હશે તો શું? People are still having crazy ideas like this even today. Seriously. Somebody few years ago was trying to dissociate water at lower energy than the dissociation energy. Why? So that I can get hydrogen and oxygen, combine it back, get energy, use partial energy to dissociate water again. No sir, it doesn't work. Energy does not come for free from nowhere. But these ideas don't go away because our concepts are not clear. So people keep on doing these things, and even as recently as 2 years ago, a professor in Delhi University said that when the metro is coming, the tunnel, આપણે ત્યાં એક ડાયનામો રાખી દઈએ તો જે હવા આવે એનાથી ઇલેક્ટ્રિસિટી જનરેટ થશે. Looks like a good idea? Yes or no?
Yes.
But where does that air draft come? It comes from the train pushing it. ડાયનામો મૂકો તો એર ડ્રાફ્ટ ને રેઝિસ્ટન્સ આવે, એ રેઝિસ્ટન્સ ટ્રેન ને જાય, ટ્રેન્સ ફ્યુલ કન્ઝમ્પશન કરે. So nothing comes for free, but it is a very attractive idea which does not work. Let's be careful. So the idea is, how do you remove such problems and how do you understand the concepts which are going on? So let us come to some real examples. Okay, what type of questions we ask? We'll come back to the now here. So everybody knows this lens system, convex lens. બધાને ખબર છે? Is the equation correct or wrong? તમે આવ્યું છે કે નહીં આ સ્કૂલમાં? નથી એમ સોડવાનું. So basically, when you keep a lens, convex lens, how does the image distance change with the object distance? That is a very common thing to understand. But where do you see the most common application of convex lens? Anybody else? Any idea? Car lens. Anybody else? Huh? Mirror. Anybody else? अर्धा लोग को पता है कार नहीं है, એટલે कार नहीं है. What else can you? Lens ની impact, lens ની application क्या हो है? Day to day life. Eyes. But no matter what you do, eyes is never the first answer. Because lens is taught in physics, eyes are taught in biology. So we study science in a different way, whether it is a combined thing. So we can skip this. Okay. तो मैकेनिक्स तो बने थे, मैकेनिक्स बने थे कि नहीं? એટલે બોલ ઉપર ફેંકીએ અને ઇક્વેશન નથી કર્યું. Then I cannot okay. So let's go to the question of Olympia. Okay? What type of questions are there? So एक simple question है. There is a round spherical cavity under the surface of Earth. It has 70% volume is oil, 30% is gas. So you have to calculate how much is the depth of the region. So what is the pressure on the gas? Can you calculate? हाइट डेप्थ खबर हो तो कैलकुलेट था ना, हाइट खबर हो रो GH नहीं है कोई. So the point is कि एकदम simple geometry way में one can calculate what is the pressure, how can you remove the oil, and when you really look at the science in it, it is very simple equation and geometry. But it looks like a very difficult question. So typically the Olympiad questions are of this type. Carefully you have to read the question and then see what is the science reasoning. Anyway, this is an interesting question that how you integrate science. And I think this movie will work. मूवी से चीता नहीं दुनिया क्या चले जाएंगे नदी anyway जो गूगल पर अवेलेबल है. The question was how fast a cheetah runs. So anybody has any idea what will be its speed? Can you guess? It is the fastest animal on the planet. Yes, 100 km/h. That is 30 meters per second. Okay. Any idea how quickly it attains that velocity? In how much time? See, this is the movie. Okay. So observe this movie carefully. See how its legs fall. Usually we always assume that jumping is like this. Bare pag saate ho. No, bare pag saate nahi. Easy. Look at this one. Only one leg will come down. The other one will not come down. See, this one came down. Now the second one. Now when it lifts the leg, this leg, and it comes down, okay, you can notice there is a clock here. It takes 22 milliseconds for the leg to come down again. And in this 22 milliseconds, it has traveled 7 meters. So, can you calculate the speed? Can you or no? It travels. What did I say? What was my question? This leg, once it goes up, it comes down again in 22 milliseconds. And in that 22 milliseconds, it has traveled 7 meters. 7 meters is almost here. What is the speed? Calculate करो. Distance and time खबर है तो. मोबाइल से बता बाजे कैलकुलेटर से व्हाट इज द डिफिकल्ट. So it travels at 35, which is same as 100 kilometers per hour, and it takes only 3 seconds to reach that speed. So with that information, its acceleration is acceleration of 10 meters per second square. It is same as acceleration due to gravity. Small animal, it can travel so fast, so quickly that it is a sports race, car race. Forget that. But other than that, Porsche is the fastest most powerful car. It takes 4 seconds to reach that speed. Cheetah takes 6 seconds. Where does it get that energy from? How will you get, what do you think is the energy? From where will you get the energy? Are too fast, भागो and acceleration करो तो energy चाहिए कि नहीं? क्या नहीं मालूम? Of course food, but food में energy नहीं आती. Vitamin injection नहीं. What is the process? आपने बताने energy क्या दिया? Biology answers. Food to, see, if you go and ask somebody on the street, where do I get energy, he will also say from food. You are a science student, so you have to answer in a scientific way. Where do we get the energy from? Vitamin is more deeper, but less deeper. Little science student. What do you burn to get energy?
Calories.
No, you don't burn calories. You get calories from burning something. What do you burn? But the human, all life forms, where do they get the energy from? Glucose burning and they are not that. You get energy from glucose. Okay. So you need glucose and you need oxygen, right? So in this case, this cheetah requires 51 liters of oxygen per second, sorry, per minute. 51 liters, okay, to go and run at that speed. But its lungs are so small that it cannot breathe more than 2 liters per minute. It breathes 2.5 times a second. Kapalbhati kari na kabhi? Even that is not 2.5 times a second. This is much faster than that. So if it cannot breathe so much oxygen, then where does it get the energy from? Have you heard respiration? There is, what are the 2 types of respiration? Which one? Aerobic and anaerobic. I am not teaching you, you know it. You have to use this information here. Aerobic respiration means glucose burning, which is not possible. So it goes into anaerobic respiration when it runs at such large speed. But with all this comes heat. So the heat generated in body is so high that in 23 seconds its temperature will rise by 1.5 degrees centigrade. Body temperature. How are we there? 1.5 degrees centigrade એટલે આપણે લગાડી છે ને, that is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. આપણે તો સીધા ડોક્ટર પાસે ભાગી જઈએ. This person is, Sita is still running. But beyond this, its tissues start to break down. So after 23 seconds, it has to shut down. Okay. Either has caught the prey or forget it. It has to give up. In fact, it is so bad that if it has actually killed the prey, but by that time its body temperature has become 1.5 degrees centigrade higher, it has to just sit down. And then, how do animals cool themselves? Putra jagat deep bare kaatto su kam hai? Cool down. In fact, even in yoga, there is a, I forget the name. Huh? You? Isu kam kare? To cool down your temperature. You twist your tongue and you breathe in. It cools down your body. The same thing is done by cool down its temperature. And at that time, if a hyena comes to grab the prey, this cheetah can do nothing. It will just sit and watch its prey taken away by somebody. So you can see how physics, chemistry, biology are completely related to each other. They are not separate. In nature does not come in physics, chemistry, biology. I'll give you another question. While you think of the answer, I'll switch the. Which animal has the strongest heart? Which animal has the strongest heart? By the way, how many of you are interested in physics? Okay, chemistry? Biology? So now let us see who answers. This is a biology question, right? Which animal has the strongest heart?
Hummingbird.
Hummingbird, okay. Why? Sir, guess to kind of the others are not even guessing. Yes.
Shark.
Why?
Sonaदायक कहीं.
Why? So run so fast. Anybody else? Hathi, just because it is big size. Okay, let us stop this question for 1 minute. Okay, I'll ask you another question. Suppose you become a good professional and earn a lot of money, and then you want to buy a plot near Gandhinagar, and you want to build your own house. You have two options. Option A, ground story only. Ground story only. Option B is ground plus 1 plus 2 stories. Okay. Which option requires stronger water pump? ऊपर पानी ની टाकी નાખી હશે ને? કયા option માટે you need stronger water pump?
Option B.
Everybody knows option B, right? Now link this with question number 1. This is a common story. Okay. The moment you ask second question, the answer to the first question is immediately available. Why is there? So what? Longer necks of the. Why? To what? टांगना तो नहीं ना? What? Brain. Because unless your brain is active, you are dead. So brain needs more blood supply, and the longest distance between the heart and the brain, and vertical, not height. Vertical difference is highest in. So you need a stronger pump to put all that blood into the brain. So you see how physics and biology are related. All your pressure, potential energy, all that concept has to be used in biology to understand how biology works. So these are two examples where you can see how you integrate things. And nature is integrated. You can break it up into 5 or 10 different compartments. That's your problem. The same thing goes with medical doctors. Okay, pug no separate, heart no separate, heart no separate, brain no separate. Do you think they understand the whole physiology properly when you study them so separately? Human being is one. So that's why there are many problems. Okay, so that is one part. This is the theory. Now we come to experiment. In Olympiad, in the junior science Olympiad, we give lot of importance on experiment. Why? Because it instills confidence. Once you have done something, then you will be confident about the concept. Okay. There is no failure in an experiment. Why? Because suppose I ask you a question that I want to go to the main gate. I am New here, I don't know. So you tell me you go out from here, you take a left turn, after 100 meters you take a right turn, then there will be a circle, then you take another left turn, whatever. That is the procedure to do the experiment. Suppose if I go out and take a right turn, I will land up somewhere else. That is not a failure, that is a different experiment. So when you go to your kitchen, and by the way, do you know kitchen is the best chemistry laboratory? How many of you know how to cook? Honestly, and cook मतलब चा बनाना is not cooking. You have to actually cook full. दाल भात બધું. Maggie is not cooking. Maggie is waste of time. બધું બનાવતા આવડે. You see, when you cook, you realize the importance of procedure, timing, sequence of the events, okay, and you cannot interchange one with the other. So you cannot cook badi શાકભાજી સાથે નાખી દો, મસાલા નાખી દો, ઉપરથી તેલ નાખીને, then you cannot start the fire. There is a sequence, right? You cannot put rye in too early cold oil, nor can you put it in a too hot oil. Okay, this is experiment. If you put it too early, it will be kacha. Lamp of procedure. If you put it later, it will burn and give you a bad taste. So experiments, all science experiments have a prescribed sequence, procedure, timing, everything. And that's best learned when you practice it. So if you know cooking, you will learn much more than if you don't know. You will learn science much more. So it tells you if you, so when you start making atta, if you put in too much water, you will have a nice enjoyment of chapati. I don't know who will eat it, but people will. So it's a different experiment. It is not a failure. So it's a different experiment. Then, for example, this is a simple pendulum experiment we saw in the book. In this, G can never change, right? G is fixed, pi is also fixed. So if I take a certain length, my time period has to be according to that. It cannot go wrong. Whether I do it in here, in Madras, in South Africa, in Arctic Ocean, everywhere, L and T will have to have the same related numbers. But if you don't get the right T, that means you are not doing the experiment correctly. Okay. So we also learn a lot from experiment. It's not that we also don't learn. So you know chlorophyll have a lot of pigment. So there is an experiment where you take a chemical solvent, you put an extract, put it in, mix it in the solvent, and there is what is known as a chromatography plate. If you keep it on that one drop, these pigments start separating out. This is a very standard experiment. You may learn it next year or whenever. It's called chromatography experiment. It's a very standard. It can never fail. But one day, when we were doing it, it would not work. Okay. In spite of our experience, it would not work. So we took all the chemicals, the spinach, we came to our lab and did it, and it worked. So why was it not working in that college? So we went back and we found out that all the glassware was cleaned by water and then they used to dry it. We also do the same thing. But our water is from municipality, which has very little salts in it. That water came from borewell. It had huge amount of salt. So the salts would stick on the walls of the glassware, and when you put the solvent interacts with the salts and it is now changed. It's not that original solvent again. So even before you start the experiment, it has changed. So we learn a lot of things when you start doing the experiment. How you cannot simply dry the vessel. You also have to clean it with a paper or a cloth. Okay. One other question I have. If I take this glass of water and if I add sugar to it, will the volume increase or not?
No.
Everybody? No? Anybody says yes? Sure? Do it. And you will be surprised. ઘરે પાણી તો છે ને ઘરે સુગર બી છે add it. You are not wrong because in textbook says the answer is no, but do the experiment and surprise yourself. I will not give you the answer. So there are lots of such experiments which are given on this site, which are experiments which are developed for Olympiad. And this site you can note down, it will come again. In one page I have written two links which you can then copy down, don't worry about it. Here, this of course message is for the teachers that if you do this experiment in a different way than what we did, we will bring the new method also. This is a piece of equipment which was developed in our laboratory. Okay. Right now you don't know, it's called colorimeter, it will come in class 11 or 12. It costs 5 or 6,000 rupees. We make this for 500. You can also make it. Okay, here, if I can show this movie. If you click on first, okay, one second. Have you heard of projectile motion? Projectile motion is when you throw a ball like this. So the ball travels in a curve. This is called the projectile motion. If you click in Google projectile motion, you will find 1 million questions on it, all theory. We have our experiment. Okay. So if you can click on that. See, this is a motion which is made by us. This is not purchased for, we don't purchase equipment. You see how the ball is flying. Okay, now the second one. Watch carefully, the ball will go and come down. Okay? Somewhere in the movie, this is here. You can observe my hand. When I pull it off, it will move. Can you see it? Did you see the ball? Can you repeat it? અહીંયાથી ચાલુ કર ને આટલા વર્ષમાંથી ચાલુ કર. See, now it has gone to the top and then it comes down. Okay. Can you go to the third one? Now you can see this is a much wider view. देखा ना? Okay, the fourth one. This is fast, then it will slow down. 50% slow, 75% slow. This is actual movie, this is not a tracer. This is actually that ball, but because we are running in slow motion, it looks like a long thread. You can make this on your own. All this information is available on the website. We do not give it because we want you to make it. There is no problem, there is no copyright problem or anything. Make this experiment and see if you can make and study projectile motion. In projectile motion, there are two things. One is at all angles, the velocity of launch should be saved, and you can get it here. You can measure it. And as you increase the angle, the velocity, the range of the light, it keeps on increasing. At 45 degrees it is maximum, and then it again keeps on increasing. You can see this phenomena by measuring yourself in your own class. Don't have to trust. Okay, you can. Okay, so now we will spend some time in seeing what I told. Did you understand that? So all these experiments have to be designed and things like that. But major portion of the experiment deals with observation. It is the first and foremost thing in experiment, in science experiment, when you have to study, you have to understand observation. Second is of course data taking, data presentation. How do you write it in a table? How do you write it in a graph? What do you conclude from it? But observation is a part which is required everywhere in your life. Whether you go in science, whether you go in architecture, whether you go as a lawyer or a chartered accountant, observation is a key to success in all of them. So let us do that. Okay, today. So now my second part of the talk is on action. Okay, so I have this experiment here, okay, and some water. So my question is, who does not know about this experiment? Anybody doesn't know? You don't know. You also don't know. But the rest of you know, right? You have not seen this experiment in your lifetime. Yeah? अभी समझ में आ गया ना? हाँ, बता दे खबर. So, ये पॉलिट के जजेस हैं यहाँ अभी ना कर. Okay. One first. ऐसा. हाँ.
सर आपने एक वीडियो बनाई है आप.
हाँ ये करूँ तो.
वो बोलेगा.
वीडियो लोग पहले बोला हुआ. हम लोग अपन नहीं देखा. नहीं ऐसे खाते नहीं रहते. Okay. Now my question is, what did you see? But you have to raise your hand and answer. You cannot answer. One by one. Yes.
જેવી રીતે કેન્ડલ ઉપર બીકર મૂક્યું તો જેટલું બીકરમાં ઓક્સિજન પ્રેઝન્ટ હતું એટલું કેન્ડલને યુઝ કર્યું અને પછી ઓક્સિજન ના હોવાના કારણે એટલે બુજાઈ ગયું.
ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई कम થઈ ગઈ.
બધા આને વાલે મોસ્ટ બતાડી આને ઓક્સિજન દેખાય છે. ઓક્સિજન દેખાનું ને તને તો પછી કેવી રીતે કીધું? મારો પ્રશ્ન શું હતો? વોટ ડીડ યુ સી? ઓક્સિજન દેખાતું એટલે તો આટલી વાર્તા કઈ નાખી. અહીંયા અમિતાભ બચ્ચન દેખાતું નથી એની કોઈ વાર્તા નથી કરતી. જે દેખાય એની વાર્તા થાય ને. ઓક્સિજન દેખાય છે કયા કલાકમાં? અમને નથી દેખાતું. તમને દેખાતું ઓક્સિજન? આપણું પ્રોબ્લેમ જ આ છે. આપણે ટેક્સ્ટ બુક વાંચીને અહીંયા કહી છે. મેં તમને કીધું કે આપણે શું કયા ક્લાસમાં છો, કેટલા માર્ક્સ મળ્યા, કઈ ક્વેશ્ચન હતું. વોટ ડીડ યુ સી? Why do we
वही दिखाना
jump? Okay. So let us do the experiment again. Now you know the question, right? Somebody else. I mean, nah.
स्टार्ट कर दिया.
टिश्यू पेपर છે? અહીંયા છે? નથી મારા.
સામે પડે તો કે એમાં
इधर साइड
Anybody? That is an observation. Why not? That is an observation. Nothing wrong. Yes.
પાણી જેવું જે અંદર આવતું હોય પડવાતું હોય
Okay. What else?
When it was closed, the flame was becoming very straight.
Okay. Good. So now you see, first time કોઈએ જોયું નહીં, હવે બધાને દેખાવા લાગ્યું. Why? ये दिक्कत नहीं है. कैंडल पड़ी जाएगी. So now let us do, somebody else do it again. But I have to candle પછી બરાબર. કરો. Any other observation?
કેન્ડલ થઈ ગઈ.
પાણી ઉપર રહે છે કેન્ડલના
જેમ જેમ કેન્ડલ ખોલવાઈ ગઈ એમ પાણીનું રાઈસ પડશે.
Gift દેવી પડશે. હા. Anybody else? How about some timing? કયું પહેલા થાય છે, કયું હજી ચાલુ રહે છે, કયું ક્યારે બંધ થઈ ગયું, એક બંધ થઈ ગયું, બે પ્રોસેસ સાથે થતા હતા. કેન્ડલ ઓલવાડી ને પાણી રાઈસવાનું બંધ થઈ ગયું.
પાણી રાઈસ કરતો
So कैंडल पूरी तरह बुझने के बाद ये लाइट
So we are still not clear, right? Because we are not observing still. हाँ, પણ એક બંધ થયું ને બીજું બંધ થઈ ગયું. હજી એક ચીજ છે જે કોઈ જોતું નથી. Yes. It is observation. As long as you have seen it, it is an observation. If you say something without seeing it, that is correct. Somebody else.
से ना
Every time you observe, you are seeing new things, right? It was always there. Because I have done it, I know this. There is still one more thing which nobody is observing. Because you are again. Yeah, same thing. Then you have to see, you have to leave it for half an hour to see what happens. Vacuum, what? I don't know any vacuum. Why should I worry about vacuum? I am only talking about what you are seeing. We have to first train ourselves to see. As long as you are worried about the solution, you will not do the experiment. So first thing should be, and when we do research, okay, I am doing some research on some medicine. We are only worried about what graph it gives. We are not worried about how it works, nothing. Is the graph for 10 medicines different or not? Just observe the graph, the spectrum, whatever. We will think about why, how, later. So one has to train yourself to see. Do it one more time and then we'll stop. If you cannot see, then I will. Okay, I will tell you, otherwise you will never see. After the candle extinguishing, you will see some smoke. You will see some smoke. After the candle extinguishing, wait. मैं तो कीधुं थी ગામડામાં હોય ને મેં તો પહેલા જ કીધું આમ જ થશે. That's not very clear. You have to say. Very little white in color. Smoke करना पड़ता है. It's very little, but it is there. So you can see there are so many things which you can. And if you now, my question is, was the candle in the plate when you came here? Somebody stuck it here. That is also up. Did you not see? Somebody lighted the candle. Somebody poured the water. These are also observations. So we assume lot of things and go, and so we close our minds so tightly that we are not willing to list as an observation. So when somebody said candle fell down, I did not laugh. That is an observation. It's happened. So observation is all there. So how do you have to learn how to observe what you are doing in experiment. So generally lab में जाइए तो जल्दी खत्म करो, जर्नल लिखने दीवानी है, टीचर मार्क्स आपकी दो, छुट्टी. No, don't take it that way. Do the experiment, see what is happening, see if you can modify a little. In this you can. Did you have any questions that candle लांबी हो तो सुधार, candle नानी हो तो सुधार, पानी વધારે ભરીએ તો સુધાર. Can I put oil on that water? Will it still rise? What happens if I light the candle, light के पटक के नागी देती, and what if I wait for 5 minutes and then put it? Will the answer be different?
फ्लेम मोटी करते
I don't know the answers to your question, but I have the question. What if I put two candles?
જે મોટી કેન્ડલ હશે ઊંધી
Not enough. Try to learn. We can try, right? The importance is not question. The importance is, do I have the question and do I have the willingness to try it? You said, "Am thase." Are you guaranteed 100% sure? Unless you have done it. If you have done it, you will say, "Yes, yes, I did it," and it was like. But you are not done it. I mean, not you in general. You don't do it. And then, कौन तुमने घरे पे मना करे? This is the most harmless experiment. You can do it on. It takes half an hour, 45 minutes. Do it. See what are the changes. Why is this humidity only above the level of the candle? Why doesn't it go down? There are so many questions. So you see, this looks such a simple experiment. वर्षों दिए तक पानी ना को ऑक्सीजन खत्म नहीं की blah 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 खत्म. This experiment can be done in 100 different ways. Okay? And you can keep on learning more. So these are simple things which teach you much more than we want to learn, because our textbook has put it very kind of. And 20% આનો તમે, if you take a scale and measure the volume, since the area is same, this height of water should be 20% of the height, right? It is not. So 20% oxygen to area. So that also doesn't add up. So there are, because it is not a simple phenomena that oxygen got consumed. Oxygen got consumed, so carbon dioxide कहाँ गया? That also occupies the volume, right? So why should water rise?
ऑक्सीजन की जगह पे वाटर है
तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड भी नहीं.
जितने ऑक्सीजन था उसकी जगह वाटर है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड अंदर ही.
हाँ तो ऑक्सीजन, जब कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड अंदर है तो वाटर क्यों अंदर आया?
ऑक्सीजन की जगह पे अंदर आया.
ऑक्सीजन की जगह पे कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड आ गया, तो फिर जगह कहाँ से मिली उसको? We have to ask such questions. When you quickly put it, and when you put it after 5 minutes, it will tell you that it's completely different in height than the water rises. Why is that? Volume of oxygen, so far oxygen को नहीं दिखता, वो तो same है ना. So if I put it quickly and if I put it after 3 minutes, why is there difference? You can also do one thing. If you remove it and keep it like this, then light, put it back. Then next time remove it, keep it like this, light it, put it back. It will give you a completely different answer. So there are so many things you can do with it. Do it. And then you will start understanding thermodynamics, you will start understanding chemistry, you will start understanding. Okay, now let's do another activity. I am tired speaking, so now I can ask you to speak and do things. अगर किसी को ये पता है तो पहले हाथ ऊपर करना. Because if you know it, then just because you know it, don't remove the fun of others learning. So the question is that we want to put water into this beaker and not pour it like this, but it has to go through this like a fountain inside. जो करना है करो, इतना ही सिंपल ही है, इसमें और कुछ है नहीं, बाकी का सब भूल जाओ. डालो, उसको मत बताओ, डालो, उसको मत बताओ, डालो. हाँ डालो ना, एक मिनट। इसको निकालने की भी परमिशन है। हाँ ठीक है, कर दो तुम लोग इधर हमें थोड़ा बैठो। मैं थोड़ा थक जाता हूँ, नॉट सच ए यंग है फेलो। हाँ
बोलावे तने खाली
पानी कम अगर है, ऐसा लगता है पानी कम है थोड़ा मोटर मोर वाटर में हेल्प करें। Candle thing. Candle is not available. I told you only this much. No, भूल गया। वो फाउंटेन जो है उसके अंदर बनाने का, टेबल पे नहीं बनाने का। तुम उसके अंदर कैसे भी ये फ्लास्क के अंदर करके दिखो। मुझे नहीं पता, मैंने तो क्वेश्चन दे दिया, अभी तुम मेरे को सामने क्वेश्चन मत पूछो तो आंसर। हाँ हिंट्स આમાંથી પાણી આમાં નાખવાનું છે, વોટ ઇઝ ધ હિન્ટ?
કઈ હિન્ટ આપો કઈ રીતે નાખીએ? તમે એક્સપેરિમેન્ટ કર્યું છે એટલે તમે કરવાનું હશે, તમને ખબર છે કે
તમને બી કર્યું છે. You have also done this. चलो हिंट આપો છો તો કોકો કોલા મને ગમે છે. શુરુઆતી પીધું છે કે ચાલે
હવા નીકળતી હોય નહીં, હવા નીકળતી પછી હું આમ કરી દઉં છું.
તો મોઢામાં ફાઉન્ટેન થાય છે કે નથી થતું? પછી એટલે કર્યું છે ને, તો now don't say that I have done the experiment and you have not. Now do it.
નહીં કરી શકીએ, ખબર પડી ગઈ બહુ ગરીબ. પેલો પાઇપમાંથી આમ હવા ચૂસીને આમ કરે તેમાં પાણી આવતું હતું, ખબર તો પડી ગઈ, ખબર પડી ગઈ. અમથી ભૂખમાં નાની ખબર તો પડી ગઈ.
કરે કરી દે. મને શું કામ પૂછો? આને પૂછો ને, એ હા પાડશે તો થશે, ના પાડશે તો નહીં થાય. Remember to ask me.
વચ્ચે પડે છે, વચ્ચે પડે છે.
હવે તો હિન્ટ બી આપી દીધી, હવે શું છે કરો?
આખું ખબર પણ કે
તો દિમાગ લગાડવાનું ને, દિમાગ શું કામ આપ્યું? આ નિયસ બ્રેન ના પૈસા નહીં મળે. ચાલ વિચાર.
અંદરની હવા
કરો નીકળો. હા
અને મને આવે
હા good. अरे भाई फुवारो करवाना फाउंटेन में इंक ड्रॉप पे इंक मत नाखવાની
ના પડે તો
નહીં થતું થાય છે આ નથી કરતું આ ફાઉન્ટેન નથી
तो इसी का उल्टा करना इसी का उल्टा
हाँ
इसका उल्टा इसका उल्टा करेगा तो
वो बीकर उल्टा नहीं करना बाकी सब ठीक है नहीं तो पानी नीचे जाएगा
ट्राई कर इसको उल्टा करते हैं एक बार ट्राई कर आइडिया फाउंटेन
તો અમે જા તો ભાઈ કર તું ખોટું ખોટું મને કે છે ખોટું ખોટું કે પણ હવે તો શું દેખા કે મેં ના પડતો ફાઉન્ટેન હવા નીકળી જાય બધી તું મોઢામાંથી ખાડે ને તરત એને પ્રેસ કરતો તો હવા નહીં નીકળે પ્રેસ કરते से तो हवा नहीं लगती આમ પાણી આમાં લઈને પછી આમ કરવાનું છે અહીંથી પેલા પાણી એમ ચૂકવાનું છે પછી આમ કરી દેવાનું છે તે પાઇપ નું ઘરે કર્યું નહીં ઘરે લેવો પણ આમાં નહીં मुंबई पाई में चुपका क्या मुंबई पाई जाके चुपू क्या मुंबई पाई चुपू क्या मारे हैं पांचों अंदर
इसको पहले पहुंच गए तूने
એક આને છે ને એવોઇડ કરો આ એકદમ પોઇન્ટેડ છે લાગી જશે એટલે એને હાથ કે મોઢું નહીં જતું ઠીક છે
तो હવે કીધે એ જ એક રસ્તો એ જ રસ્તો
सर एक लास्ट हमारा नहीं
આને આને કરવા દે આને કરવા દે
पूर नहीं करवाना हमारा
આમ કરો એક ગયું એનો લાઈ થાય છે दूध नहीं पी रहा मैं ना पीता અહીંયાથી નાનો તો તારે કરતો હતો આમ ચૂસીને પછી આમ કઈ આમ કરવાનું બહુ એક્સપિરિયન્સ છે સારો આઈ મેં સરગી આમ મોહામાં ના આપે તો શું કરવું ઓલું પાછું કરો જેમ કરવું હોય ભાઈ તો આ તો કરી
सर एक लास्ट
સર આને કરવું છે
મોઢામાં નાખો
આને મદદ નહીં કરી મેં. આને મદદ નહીં કરી મેં. સોનું આપ્યું તો પણ યાર.
શું કરવું છે પ્રેરણાજી કયા કરવું છે અહીંયા નથી ને
થમ્સ અપ થયું એના માટે થમ્સ અપ ને મેન્ટર
मतलब मॉडल यूज तो कर रहा था क्लिप्स तो वही कर रहा था लेकिन बहुत कम था
ચલો ઉલ્ટા કર रहा था मैं.
मैंने बोला ना तुरंत बहुत
અરે
कम
હું એમાં
बहुत कम टाइम
હું એમાં હવા નાખતો હતો સરે નીકાળી.
तो वो नाचता था
હા તો
પહેલે કરવું છે
काढ़वानी है
હવે થઈ ગયું આ તો કરું.
या आप कर
અને આ કોઈ સર છે સરમાં
हवा निकाल जरा पहला हवा नाक पे
તો પછી કેમ થાય
निकालवानी
અંદર લેવાની
हाँ हवा निकालवानी
બોલો હવા ભરે
मुझे हवा देना है
ભરે ના
અંદર જુર્યું. અરે તાળી ગયું.
अरे अडाड़ीस ना नीचे पूछू रखला वैसे
પતી ગઈ પતી હવે નહીં આવે કઈ આખો દિવસ નહીં આવે
અચ્છા મને મને કોઈ બહાર આવે.
તેને કરવું છે આ કર
કઈ તો કેવું કે કરી કરી મેં કર્યું કે મને એકલા ના હોય.
આ પેલા જ નીકળી ગયો હાથ ખાવા ઘૂસી ગયો
તો મમ્મા દીદી કઈ મળ્યું જ
હવા ઘૂસી જાય છે એટલે એટલે ઈ બહાર નીકળે પેલા એને જલ્દીથી એના પર આંગળી આવી જવી જોઈએ જો ન આવે તો હવા ઘૂસી જાય
ફાસ્ટ કરો.
નહીં સ્પીડ ઇઝ નોટ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ એકદમ શાંતિથી કરવાનું એકદમ પીસફુલ અને છે ને આમ અવાજ આવી ગયો તો હવા નીકળી ગઈ એટલે એને આમ છે ને આમ આપણે પીતા હોઈએ ને એમ હવા પીતા રાખવાનું ત્યારે બહુ સારી થાય
पानी तो निकाल अंदर
અને फिर एकदम तो उससे कुछ नहीं होता અને એકદમ ધીરે ધીરે कुछ नहीं होता धीरे धीरे पीओ આપણે પીએ ને કે આપણે કેમ પાણી પીતા હોઈએ સ્ટ્રોથી એ રીતે પીવાનું
રિપીટ નથી
આમ
કરતો.
રિપીટેડ ડોન્ટ લિસન કાંઈ ફરક નહીં થતો Simple. हवा घुसी जाए sir. Before water enters, see when the air, it has an option, air will enter. When there is no option, water will have to enter. उससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
टाइम लगता है अंदर
बराबर है.
और अंदर रखने में टाइम लगता है
કર્યું હો?
In the viewer. Right here? Anybody wants to try? Otherwise, we'll go to the next exercise. Karuje? Take one last try. Otherwise, we'll go to the next part. Okay, chalo. Right. Okay. આ શું છે? મેગ્નેટ. શીખો છો? ખબર છે? તો નથી કરવું ને? આવડે છે તો શું કામ કરવું? Okay. How many sense organs we have? 5. Which ones I know you know. Okay. Are they of equal importance or no? Are they of equal importance or no?
Yes.
All are equal? Sure? Okay. Need one volunteer. We'll play one game. કપડા ધોતા આવડે?
ના.
કોને શું ફાયદો? નહીં કપડા ધોવા જરૂર નથી. So we'll play one game. Come. Game એવી છે કે you have to see that thing. Okay. અને આ જ્યારે આમ કરું ને તો રાઈટ હેન્ડ ઉપર કરી અને નીચે કરી દેવાનું. ઠીક છે? તો મારે રાઈટ હેન્ડ થોડી ઉપર કરવાનું. અને આમ જો હાથ ફેરવું તો કઈ નહીં કરવાનું. ઠીક છે? એટલે આમ ટ્રાય કરીએ પેલા બરાબર. શું જે ખબર નહીં પડી ને? નહીં કાંઈ નહીં બેસી જાય. ચાલો. I need somebody else. ખબર છે ને ગેમના રૂલ્સ શું છે? આને તો ખબર હતી ને શું થશે? મેં આમ કહ્યું કોની રીતે હાથ ઉપર શું કામ? ખાલી એ જ નહીં, આ જો તમે લોકો મારી ઉપર કરશો ને I will also fail. So you can call any scientist on this planet Earth, he or she will fail. If I do this, they will raise their hand. What does it tell you? Nobody on this planet can recognize this, what I did. They will raise their hand. What does it tell you? It does not matter which school you study, what degree you have, what is your IQ, it does not make any difference. What does it tell you? You can go home today, do it with your father, your brother, sister, anybody. They will also do the same thing. Anybody? What happened? Why does this happen?
સાંભળીએ સેન્સ કરવાની જગ્યાએ.
હા સો
ફીલ કરવાની જગ્યાએ સાંભળીએ એટલે આપણે સમજી ના શકીએ. એટલે હું
So-
અવાજ કરું
so your sound is more important than the
ફીલ
touch. The sense organs are eyes, eyes, nose, tongue, touch and taste. So your ears are more important than the touch. Sound is more important than the touch. So two are not equal, right? They are not equal. So now all the five senses are equally important. So which would be most important? Why eyes?
દેખી શકીએ.
No, that is the reason why I told you to see other way, on the other side. Can you do this experiment if you are looking at it? That is, your eyes are more important. Okay. So eyes are more important than the sound. That is why I told you to look other way. So when you cannot identify something, the sound, you do it like this, right? Why? You shut down your eyes because your eyes are not able to see what is happening. So you shut down eyes, then your brain looks at the sound. As long as your eyes are open, it will not identify the sound. Okay, so eyes are more important than the sight is more important than sound. Sound is more important than the touch. Which will be next? Taste or smell? Why? Why?
સ્મેલ કરીને આપણે ખબર પડે કે કયું ફૂડ છે કે શું છે XYZ.
टच करवा दी नहीं खबर, टेस्ट करवा दी नहीं खबर.
બધું ટેસ્ટ કરી શકે સર
हाँ?
બધી વસ્તુ ટેસ્ટ કરી શકે
જે કરી શકે તો કરી શકે ને એમાં.
પણ દુનિયામાં તો કેટલી વસ્તુ આપણે સૂંઘી જ પડે સેન્ટ હોય તમે ટેસ્ટ કરી શકો સ્પ્રે
That's not the reason. The reason is that to taste it, you have to put it in your mouth. Smell can come from anywhere. That is the reason. So if you look at it from a different viewpoint, what is the farthest thing that you can see?
નજર પડતા સુધી
यहाँ સુધી पड़े.
जितने दूर से लाइट आ सकती है
हाँ तो कितना दूर? Tell me. How far? कितना दूर का देख सकते हैं? मून दिखता है कि नहीं? हाँ तो फिर that is the farthest object you can see.
કેમ સન દીખે ના
Sun you don't see. Sun is its own light source. Okay. Moon is reflected object in sunlight. They are different. So moon is the farthest you can see. But can you hear that long? So can you hear or smell or touch or taste? Nothing. Right? So what is the farthest you can hear? Much more than that. What is it? बस इतना ही और कुछ नहीं है. हर्ट्ज वर्ड मुझे नहीं मालूम वो सब भाषा है. मैं कितना दूर का सुन सकता हूँ उतना ही क्वेश्चन. तो कितनी दूर? 500 मीटर, 600 मीटर.
એના મેગાહર્ટ પર ડિપેન્ડ છે સાઉન્ડ
મને
કેટલું
મેગાહર્ટ્ઝ ને તો નથી સમજાતું સાહેબ. મને ખાલી કેટલું દૂરનું સાંભળાય એટલું જ. મારા કાનમાં કેટલું દૂરનો અવાજ આવી શકે જેનું આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કરી શકે. જેનું આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ ન કરી શકું એનું કંઈ મતલબ નથી. તો બારે દૂર કાર હોર્ન મારે તો સંભળાય કે નહીં? રેલવે સ્ટેશન ઉપર એન્જિન એનાથી કઈ દૂર? પ્લેન એનાથી કઈ દૂર? પ્લેનની હાઈટ કેટલી હોય? 10 કિલોમીટર મેક્સિમમ. એનાથી દૂર કઈ? વીજળીનો અવાજ કેટલો દૂર હોય? વીજળી lightning is several tens of kilometers. So that is the farthest you can hear. What will be next distance wise? Touch, smell or taste? આખા રૂમમાં ત્યાં અગરબત્તી લાગી હોય તો સંભળાય સ્મેલ કરે. What is next? Touch. And for taste, unless you put something inside, you cannot. So again, you can see the sequence of your importance of your sense organs. Because these powers are for animal. We are for nature. We are as good an animal as a deer or rabbit or lion or tiger or whatever. Okay, so when you are in the jungle, your first dependency is on the eyes. because farthest light બંધ થઈ જાય તો પછી અંધારું આવી જાય તો for ear or smell. So these sense organs are meant for that. That is why they have a hierarchy. So our textbook says all sense organs are equally important. Full stop. Okay, that is not correct. Because we don't do experiments to see it. I can't change the textbook. Someday, if I have the power, I will do it. But till that point, we have to understand science. How it is. And the next consequence of this sense organs is coordination in your body. Okay? So, when you are sitting, what you do is you extend your leg, right leg, and rotate it clockwise. Do it. Keep on doing this. Then you put your left hand in front like this. Okay, and then take right hand and right 6. What happened? Keep on doing it clockwise and right 6 on your hand.
એટલે આને કોનો કોઈ છે આને એન્ટી કેવો કોઈ
अरे इसमें 6 लिखना है.
6 लिखा ना?
इसमें 6 लिखना है. इसमें
Can you do it? Nobody on this planet can do it. You are meant that way, that when you see the tiger, you will not think, मेरे को right leg पहले डालना है, right hand, left leg, no. When you put the left leg first, your right hand goes in the front and you run. This is called coordination which are built in, like your BIOS software. You cannot change it. Okay. You can keep practicing this for 6 years and you will still not be able to do it. Okay, these things are built so that when you run, you don't have to think to balance your body. Okay, your left leg and right hand will go front together or the other way. Okay, so these are some of the things which are in nature. You have to understand how they work. Okay. And with that I was talking about experiments, observations, and then there is a lot of part in collecting data. Okay. So here of course you are not collecting any data, but this is the 2 sites that we have. You can write it down now. This first, this is a science journal, okay, which is not available for free. It is only first issue is free. We can have a look at it, okay. But otherwise, if your teacher is interested, your library can get it. It's for 500 rupees a year. It's not more. The second one is free. Okay. There you have some basic experiments which are listed. Okay. And then there are 3 books which are coming out, which are of course based on these questions like cheetah. What is? I think I will come to the next page. Have you finished writing? I can.
No, sir. Yes.
Don't worry about writing this thing. So the first book talks about theory questions. So it talks about questions like this. When there is water which is rising in a tree, what is the velocity of that water? Can you calculate it? Okay. And with simple assumptions, you can actually estimate the velocity. How much is the energy trapped inside the core of the earth? Can you estimate? In fact, it is so much that you can, with rough calculation, which are shown that it can last us 1 million years at today's consumption rate. If we stop all other energy sources, solar, wind, whatever, and if you were to only withdraw energy from the core of the earth, it will last us 1 million. But you cannot do it, it's very difficult. What is the sea water? It's physics and chemistry. How much will the water rise if all the ice were to melt? What will be the change in the salinity? Things like that. And there are seaweeds in biology which can actually draw fresh water from sea and not the soil. Can we use it to desalinate? Dynamics of theta is shown. How does a jet engine work? How much energy we get from sun? It is not unlimited. I will come to it in the. This is the first book which is there, and in the second book, what is energy? How do we waste energy? Okay. When I say waste energy, do you understand the meaning of the word waste of energy? What is waste of energy? Do you know? How do you say? So everybody says don't waste electricity. बोलते हैं कि नहीं? Don't waste energy. Don't waste electricity. What does it mean? What are the sources of energy? There are only 3 sources of energy on this planet. Sun, radioactive sources, and core of Earth. Everything else falls in this category. Even the sun, so hydro energy is actually because of heating of the water in the sea, and it rises as rainfall and comes and gets collected. So it is still solar energy. Because of different heating at different places on the earth, you have air currents. So we have wind energy, but it is still based on solar. Okay. So because sun gives energy to this sea water, it either becomes hydro energy or it becomes wind energy. It doesn't happen on its own. And everything else. The only other thing which is independent of solar energy is radioactive material which is available, which was made during the formation of Earth. We don't know anything about it. And then the heat which was trapped in the Earth's center. This is an interesting question, which you should calculate on your own. I will not tell you, but otherwise you can read the book. When you travel in a car, how much area does each person occupy? That is called per capita area occupied when you travel in a car, and what is the per capita area occupied when you travel in a bus, and what is the fuel consumption? In what is Earth's age? Some billion years. It took several million years for the fossil fuel to get generated. And how much time did we take to use it up? 300 years, 200 years. Do we have that right to use it? No. But we do it. How can we reduce it?
इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल का यूज करके रिड्यूस होगा.
Electricity कहाँ से आएगा?
सोलर या फिर वो हाइड्रो.
Hydro is again solar. So listen, solar energy is very limited. What you get on the planet's surface is limited on the limited quantity in a given day. It is not infinite.
सोलर एनर्जी कैसे लिमिटेड होगी?
Because the sun gives out only a limited amount of energy every day. That's all. It is not indefinite. And we are already reaching that limit. So we don't have indefinite supply of energy. So we think, oh, electricity. Lekin electricity kahan se aayega? You think hydrogen vehicle is a solution? Hydrogen kahan se aayega? It is done by electrolysis of water, for which we need to burn coal. So that is not a solution. So we have to start thinking how we will not use it unlimitedly. So, for example, we are going alone in the car. Is it correct? Because if you go by bus, you consume much less energy, almost more than 10 times less energy than when you travel by a car. So, are there the real solutions? No, this is the real solution. How to reduce consumption? And by reducing the consumption, it means a lot of things. If I need 20 pairs of clothes? When you go and buy 20 pairs of clothes, there is somebody where the energy is required to grow that cotton, use that spinning mill, everything gets involved. If I waste food, it is wasted effort. Can we reduce those things? And there is completely different topic. So this has come out of Olympiad program. Okay. When we do this Olympiad program, all these observations and ideas and that all get developed. Okay. So I come to an end here, and thank you. If there are any questions, you can ask.
सर वही आंसर दे दो ना कि पानी की जगह क्या से आई?
हाँ?
पानी की जगह क्या से आई फर्स्ट एक्सपेरिमेंट?
इसीलिए तो कहा कि इसमें मजा आंसर में नहीं है, मजा खोजने में। ये इतना सिंपल चीज है, तुम घर में कर सकते हो ना। एक दिन सोच लो कि आज टीवी पे मूवी नहीं देखना। मूवी देखते हो? सीरियल देखते हो? मूवी देखते हो ना? एक मूवी स्किप करो और लेके बैठ जाओ। 2-3 मार्केट से कैंडल लेके आओ, एक बड़ी एक छोटी लंबी। कांच का ग्लास होगा, उससे भी कर सकते हो। ये बीकर होना जरूरी नहीं है। And you try to figure out what are the differences. You will first find that even only with candle you will get different kinds. Why? Start making a note. और कैंडल जलने के बाद बीकर कितनी देर बाद रखा, उसको भी नोट करो। 10 सेकंड में रखा, 1 मिनट में रखा, 3 मिनट में रखा। What are the differences? The fun is not in answer. Answer तो तुमको कोई दे देगा, and let me tell you something. जो आंसर देगा वो कभी complete आंसर नहीं देगा, because there is nobody who has done this study completely. All parameters taken care of. Any other question?
सर जो वो एक्सपेरिमेंट हमने किया था, तो उसके अंदर जब वो हमने फायर मतलब माचिस से उसको किया, तब उसके अंदर जाके अंदर पानी आ रहा था। उसके पहले जब ऐसे सिंपल अंदर रखा तब नहीं आया, और जब वो अंदर जैसे जैसे अंदर पानी आता गया वैसे वो बुझ गया। तो अभी भी अंदर पानी तो आ ही रहा था, और जब ऐसे ही हमने रखा तब बुझा हुआ, तब अंदर।
That is another observation, that even after the candle fire extinguishes, water is still rising. Or what does it tell you? That's an important observation, and it is an important factor. So what could be happening? Think. Candle तो बुझ गया, ठीक है। अब और क्या हो सकता है? जब कैंडल बुझ जाता है तो उसके आगे पीछे जो हवा होती है वो गर्म होती है, ठंडी होती है। अब वो क्या होगा? हवा ठंडी हो जाएगी तो क्या होगा? नहीं, कैंडल जब थी तो हवा आगे पीछे बहुत गर्म होती है। When you have the candle lighted, just put your hand around it, not on it. You will feel the heat. तो जब आप टीकर डालोगे तो हवा तो गर्म ही है। अब कैंडल बुझ गई, अब वो हवा को क्या होगा? हवा ठंडी होगी तो क्या होगा?
ठंडी हवा भारी हो जाएगी।
भारी नहीं होती है, डेंसिटी इंक्रीजेस। It is lighter, it is less dense. When it cools down, it becomes more dense, so it occupies lower volume.
तो मिल गया।
बट दैट इज नॉट द ओनली आंसर. वही मैंने कहा कि वो ठीक है. आई गिव यू द हिंट.
मैंने क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं दिया.
I give you the hint. Now you can do more and more. Okay? You understood or not? Yes.
आंसर तो नहीं बोला कोई काम.
हाँ, हिंट तो मिल गया ना. आप करके वही तुम कर सकते हो. जब उसको बीकर रखा तभी हाथ रखो कि गर्म है. अब पानी बढ़ रहा है. अब अभी भी गर्म है क्या? So there are so many aspects in this simple experiment. There is not one single way of doing it. And this is what is involved in many aspects. Okay. So वो जो कुकर होता है, why you cannot open the, don't do it, but it is, you cannot do. So when the cooker तो whistle बजता है ना, जब तक वो ठंडा नहीं होता उसका कैप जो है वो खुलेगा नहीं. It will be so, and if you actually force it open, it will boom. Why? Because air is hot, it is applying a lot of pressure, it is trying to expand. When it cools down, it comes down to normal volume. So you can. Same concept is used in steam engine. When you heat up the water, it applies pressure, and so the release of pressure is given only in one direction, which moves the wheel to the engine. Idea is same. Okay. Yes.
आपका पूरा नाम क्या है?
परेश के जोशी. इससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? इससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? Okay. Any other question?
तीन दिन में पहली बार इतना इंटरेक्ट किया है ना. मैंने ऐसा देखा कि मैं नहीं था सेशन में, इंटरेक्ट कर रहे थे पर मैं था कि नहीं. आई थिंक मेरे को लगा कि आज सबसे ज्यादा इंटरेक्ट हुआ है. पर ये सर ने जो हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपेरिमेंट करवाए, आई थिंक इट्स एक्सेलेंट. सही ना? आप लोग कर दो. एक मिनट. तो हम लोग भी ऐसा हैंड्स ऑन एक्टिविटी करते हैं, टीचर्स के लिए, स्टूडेंट के लिए करते. तो ये 3 दिन का अपना साइंस ओलंपियाड प्रोग्राम था. हम लोग यहाँ पे बैठ के पढ़ रहे थे, पर काफी बच्चे ऐसे जो ऑनलाइन भी देख रहे हैं हम. ठीक है, आप सबको जैसे कि हम लोगों ने वंदे गुजरात जो चैनल है उसमें ऑनलाइन पब्लिश किया है, पूरा लाइव चल रहा है. ये आप देख रहे हैं सिस्टम, वहां से पूरा लाइव जा रहा है. यूट्यूब चैनल पे भी हमारा चल रहा है. आप कभी भी यूट्यूब खोल के ओरिएंटेशन प्रोग्राम साइंस ओलंपियाड ऐसा करके सर्च करोगे तो आपको पूरा मिल जाएगा. ये जितना दिन का सेशन हुआ 3 दिन का, तो पूरा आपको ये 3 दिन का पूरा कंटेंट वहाँ पे मिल जाएगा. दूसरा, हमारा जो बुक्स है, बुक्स के अंदर में दूसरा हमने अभी बताया कि हम लोगों ने 5 साल का जो पेपर है वो पेपर सॉल्यूशन के साथ में उसको बाइंडिंग करके कंबाइन करके रखे हुए. ठीक है, आप चाहो तो उसको पेन ड्राइव में ले सकते हो, या तो कोई टीचर का मेल आईडी दे दो, स्कूल का मेल आईडी दे दो, तो हम लोग उसके ऊपर भी आपको भेज सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट हमारा ऐसा विजन है कि कुछ अभी 10 दिन तक, आज कौन सा डेट हुआ? 7. अभी लास्ट डेट कौन सा है फॉर्म भरने का? 14 है ना, तो अभी 7 दिन बाकी है. ठीक है, तो आप जाओ, आपके जो कलीग है, जो आपके फ्रेंड्स है, मतलब स्कूल में जितने भी लोग हैं, इन्फॉर्म ऑल देम टू रजिस्टर their name on IAPT वेबसाइट. और नॉमिनल फीस है 100 रुपीज समथिंग कुछ है. जब मैंने 2003 में जब मैं इन्वॉल्व हुआ था तब 50 रुपीज था. मैंने भी IAPT का एग्जाम क्लियर किया था. उस टाइम पे हम लोगों को कोई ऐसा ओरिएंटेशन देने वाला नहीं था. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ 2003 मतलब आज से कम मोर देन 15 इयर्स पहले की बात है। तो साइंस सिटी में कैसा है, साइंस सिटी में भी ये लोग कर रहे थे, आई थिंक 2006 और 7 से चलता है हमारा ओरिएंटेशन प्रोग्राम, ठीक है। तो अगले साल की आप लोग बताओ 11th 12th में, आप अभी नेक्स्ट टाइम तो आप 10th में होगे, ठीक है, फिर भी आप अटेंड कर सकते हो, 12th तक आप अटेंड कर सकते हो, और पूरा नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल ओलंपियाड का एग्जाम होता है, उसमें पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हो। सर ने बताया था मैथमेटिक्स में पहले, ये जो लड़का है हर साल कोई ब्रॉन्ज मेडल लाता है, सिल्वर लाता है, गोल्ड लाता है, ऐसा लाता है, ठीक है। तो उसके लिए आपको थोड़ा हटके प्रिपरेशन करना पड़ेगा। सिलेबस तो है ही आपका, सिलेबस तो चलता ही रहेगा। सर ने जैसे एक्सपेरिमेंट बताए, ऐसे काफी फिजिक्स के जो होते हैं एक्सपेरिमेंट, वो हमारे पास है, मोर देन 50-60 अराउंड हमारे पास है, पर हम लोग हर टाइम उसको नहीं करवा सकते। उसका आपके स्कूल में वो लैब है? नहीं, वो लैब नहीं, प्रैक्टिकल वाला नहीं, ये गुजरात गवर्नमेंट का जो अभी दिया है
अटल टिंकरिंग, अटल टिंकरिंग,
हाँ अटल टिंकरिंग लैब, अटल टिंकरिंग लैब नहीं है, स्टेम लैब है, स्टेम लैब, अटल टिंकरिंग लैब नहीं है आपके वहाँ, ओके। तो अटल टिंकरिंग जो लैब है उसमें काफी सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट है, हम लोग भी सामने डू इट योरसेल्फ करके काफी कुछ लगाया हुआ है, ठीक है। तो हम भी हैंड्स ऑन एक्टिविटी करते हैं, जैसे सर ने भी डेमोस्ट्रेशन हमको दिखाया। तो ये जो प्रोग्राम है वो एक्सपेरिमेंटल के साथ में है। अभी सर ने जो एक्सपेरिमेंट किया तो काफी कुछ बच्चे ऑनलाइन भी देख रहे हैं, ठीक है। तो आप भी सबके साथ में शेयर करना, आपका एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना, यहाँ से बुक ले जाओ, आप पढ़ो, सब लोग रजिस्टर करवा दो। आपके टीचर को बोलना साइंस सिटी को इन्फॉर्म करें कि कितने बच्चे इन्वॉल्व हुए, रजिस्टर हुए। हमने वो मैथमेटिक्स वाले सर आए थे, उनको भी बात किया था कि गुजरात में से जितने बच्चे एनरोल होते हैं उनका लिस्ट हमको चाहिए, क्योंकि इसका टोटल 3 स्टेज होते हैं। तो लास्ट स्टेज में जो बच्चे जाएंगे वो सर के वहाँ पे सेंटर में जाएंगे, वो लोग वहाँ से ओरिएंटेशन करके फिर वो इंटरनेशनल ओलंपियाड में जाएंगे, ठीक है। तो हम लोग सोच रहे वी प्लान टू कंडक्ट वन स्पेशल प्रोग्राम फॉर इंटरनेशनल साइंस ओलंपियाड, ठीक है। अभी हम जो बात कर रहे थे वो नेशनल साइंस ओलंपियाड की बात कर रहे थे, क्योंकि अभी अपने को 2-3 स्टेज क्लियर करके फिर इंटरनेशनल में जाना है। तो ये तो आगे का जो प्रोग्राम है सर लोग भी वहाँ पे कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं, उनका भी काफी वहाँ पे साइंस एजुकेशन सेंटर है, सर का भी आप कॉन्टेक्ट नंबर ले लीजिए, मेल ID ले लीजिए, ठीक है। तो ये भी आप मेरे साथ कम्युनिकेट करें, और हम लोग भी ट्राई करते हैं कि जितना हो सके उतना यूट्यूब चैनल पे, सोशल मीडिया पे, और वंदे गुजरात जो चैनल है, बरोबर, वी आर वेरी मच थैंकफुल टू वंदे गुजरात चैनल टू लाइव 3 days प्रोग्राम ऑन इस चैनल, ओके। So on behalf of Gujarat Science City, I am very thankful to Vande Gujarat channel. Also thankful to PK Joshi sir for sharing with very good ideas and knowledge about the Science Olympiad. So thank you. I request to Parik sir to a few words about the Science Orientation program. Sir, please.
Thank you, Mukesh bhai. Thank you, Joshi sir, for coming today from Mumbai and giving an experimental experience to the students. आप लोगों को कैसा लगा?
बहुत अच्छा।
तो ये तो शुरुआत थी, जैसे मैंने फर्स्ट लेक्चर में पहले दिन बताया था कि हमारा एक ऐसा प्रयत्न है इस बार कि अभी आप एनरोलमेंट लेने के लिए ये सब पता चले कि अभी क्या करना है ना। जूनियर साइंस एग्जामिनेशन है, फिजिक्स है, केमिस्ट्री, बायोलॉजी, मैथ्स और एस्ट्रोनॉमी। एनरोलमेंट के बाद भी हम एक प्लान ऐसा कर रहे हैं कि जिन बच्चों ने एनरोलमेंट कर लिया एग्जाम में उन लोगों के लिए भी सेशन रखेंगे, राइट। और वहाँ पे हैंड्स ऑन एक्टिविटी होगी, जैसे मुकेश जी ने बताया आपको, राइट। तो उसमें आप मैक्सिमम आपके फ्रेंड्स, आपके आसपास के जितने भी आपके एज के बच्चे हैं, तो मैं एक बार वापस रिपीट कर लेता हूँ सबके लिए, क्योंकि ये लाइव चल रहा है। NSE एग्जाम फर्स्ट फेज है, नेशनल साइंस एग्जामिनेशन, जिसमें ये सब्जेक्ट होते हैं कौन से बायोलॉजी, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, एस्ट्रोनॉमी एंड जूनियर साइंस। और मैथ्स का भी अलग से RMO होता है, वो मैथ्स की भी होती है। ये एग्जाम में जो बच्चे पास होंगे उनका नेक्स्ट एग्जाम होगा इंडियन फिजिक्स ओरिएंटेशन, इंडियन फिजिक्स ओलंपियाड, इंडियन केमिस्ट्री ओलंपियाड, इंडियन बायोलॉजी ओलंपियाड एंड इंडियन एस्ट्रोनॉमी ओलंपियाड, और सेम में इंडियन जूनियर साइंस ओलंपियाड। उसमें जो बच्चे सिलेक्ट होंगे उनका ट्रेनिंग मम्मी पापा रिसर्च सेंटर में होता है, राइट। यहाँ पे आप बहुत कुछ चीज सीखेंगे, और उसमें से जो बच्चे सिलेक्ट होंगे दे विल गो टू इंटरनेशनल लेवल, जो स्विट्जरलैंड, जापान है, UAE है इस बार, है ना, अलग अलग कंट्रीज में है। तो इस बार हमारी इच्छा है कि गुजरात के भी काफी बच्चे इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करें। इसलिए हमने ये यूट्यूब पे भी लाइव किया है। तो आपके फ्रेंड्स को बोलो, हम ये आपको लिंक भी वापस शेयर करेंगे। तो ये लिंक स्प्रेड कीजिए आप बहुत सारी अच्छी तरह, और एनवायरनमेंट लीजिए। और ये आपके बेसिक जो स्कूल के एकेडमिक्स में भी बहुत काम आएगा, जो सर ने बहुत सारी ट्रिक सिखाई आज। तो आपका थिंकिंग, आपका साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट जो है ना, वो आपको इम्प्रूव करना है इससे। मतलब हर चीज में व्हाई, व्हेन, वेयर, व्हाट, हाउ, ये आना ही चाहिए। ओके, एंड ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर फ्यूचर। थैंक यू वेरी मच, एंड थैंक यू वंदे गुजरात चैनल फॉर गिविंग अस दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी, और पूरी साइंस सिटी की टीम हमारी, जिन्होंने पूरे लास्ट 1 महीने से पूरी मेहनत की है, उन सबको थैंक यू वेरी मच। ओके, थैंक यू।